What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show, No Filter. I'm your host, as always, MMAnomaly, aka Olin, and this is my co-host, as usual, Jive Turkey Nano. What's up, Nano? How we doing?
Yo, Olin, my brother. Good to see you, man. We on the Jive live stream. We got UFC 289. Oh, so fun. How we doing, brother? Great to see you.
Oh, dude, great to see you.
Today.
Let's go.
Sun's
Let's
out,
go.
guns out, baby.
Sun's out, guns out, baby. Just another beautiful day in paradise out here in sunny San Diego. So yeah, man, super excited to sit here and talk about UFC 289, and the Stream Elements bot is working. So here we go, man. Super stoked here. We're going to talk about a couple of fights here. We're going to talk about definitely the main event, Amanda Nunes coming in against Irene Aldana. I think that this one has fireworks written all over it. I really do. We're also going to talk about another beautiful fight, the co-main event, aka the people's main event. Okay, yes. We're talking about Benny from the block, Beneil Dariush, going in against Charlie Olives. What do we even say?
Quite some time, man. I mean, that's how we all feel. Is we're on the edge of our seat, man. We're ready to freaking unload on this one, brother. This is one we've been waiting for quite some time. I think it's been rebooked once or twice. I mean, hey, man, this is the people's fight. This is what we've all been waiting for. Let's go.
It's a really, really good one, man. I personally have been waiting and looking forward to this one for a really long time. So without further ado, we will go ahead and what do you think? Let's talk here. Should we jump in from kind of the bottom of the card and then work our way up to these bigger fights?
We can do that. We can start there. Let's start with the appetizers and work our way to the main dish.
I like that. I like the way you worded that. So we'll go ahead and start off. We'll kind of freeball it here from the earlier fights. We got some prelims here. Just glancing at the prelims, honestly, the one that stands out to me above all else is Nasruddin Imavov going in against Chris Curtis. Imavov coming in against the action man Curtis is one of those fights where I do feel like it's a stylistic matchup. You have Chris Curtis, who's more than happy to just stand in the pocket and bang with you, throw bombs, so they say, coming in there against Nasruddin Imavov, who can pretty much take most people's best shot, take a licking and keep on ticking. And man, I think Nasruddin Imavov ends up winning this fight.
Ooh.
How does he win this fight? I think anywhere the fight goes, he might end up being the better man. He has really great grappling. He has really, really great striking. His striking could use a little bit of help, but his grappling more than makes up for it. And I think that that's what we're going to end up seeing in this kind of tale of the tape, so they say. How do you see this fight going?
Absolutely, man. This is going to be a bar burner. I think they chose this as the prelim main event for a reason. Easily could have been on the main card, but they wanted to give all the people out there that maybe weren't going to tune in first, they want to give them a reason to go ahead and buy on over and get into that pay-per-view, because it's going to be fireworks. Like you said, man, this was a tough one to pick for me. I stood away from it for our bets. We'll see that a little later here. We got some locks. We got some money coming down the pipe here. We got some competition going on, as always. But in terms of the fight, man, it's going to be a good one. I do feel like I'm leaning your direction on this. I think Imavov looks to be the younger, I don't want to say the hungrier guy, but I just love the way he fights. He fights with a little bit of an edge. You know, he looked really strong against Sean Strickland, who basically went in there as a light heavyweight, and still went in there and fought him. But he was game, man. He didn't lose any stock in my book. Imavov's really good with his footwork, his movement, really strong, straight punches. Hopefully he can use that size advantage to kind of dance around and pick apart the smaller. And honestly, this guy, Chris Curtis, man, he's a dog. He's someone that...
He's a dog. Oh. I did it again. That was my bad. I did it again. I hit a number. My God. I got to change these hotkeys for the damn stream.
We hot, baby. We live.
These hotkeys, man.
That's how you know we're live. Ain't no phony stuff around here, man.
Too excited. Hitting numbers over here, man.
All good, brother. We good? We back?
We're good. We're
Back
back.
at
We're back. We are live.
Absolutely. Not sure I cut off there, but hey, regardless, this is going to be a barn burner. Make sure y'all tune in for this or for the main card. But Imavov has good footwork. I think he is going to use those straight punches, use his ability to get in and out. I think he's going to frustrate Chris Curtis. I think he's going to avoid those nukes that he has. His hands, those big old fists of his. He looks like a freaking bodybuilder as well, that guy. And I like him as a guy. Like, he seems fun. I know he trains with Sean Strickland. He's gonna have a page on his Imavov's book already. But I'm leaning Imavov for sure, man. This will be a good one.
Yeah, I honestly, I just think Imavov, it's I don't want to say it's his fight to lose, but it's almost his fight to lose, right? Like,
yeah.
Chris Curtis is a very, very great fighter. He's a very fun fighter to watch too. He's a fan favorite because of the way that he fights, but the way that he fights is somewhat limiting. We saw that in his last fight. I think it'll probably end up being somewhat of a repeat of his last fight, if I'm being completely honest. In the next fight, I feel like we can skip over this next fight. Marc-Andre Barriault versus Eric, your boy, Anders, is one of those fights that's very, very close. Not super crazy as far as like style versus style matchups, in my opinion. They're pretty similar fighters in the fact that they both are willing to rush forward through the fire. Both have decent grappling, but not incredible grappling. Both have decent striking, but not incredible striking. I think we'll end up seeing a battle of two guys that are very well-rounded and a test of who wants it a little bit more.
I love that analysis, brother. I don't need to say too much more. I think my 2 cents here. We got a Canadian fighter in his home turf. I think I love seeing that, and you tend to see that often here in the UFC. They're going into someone's backyard. They're going to try and get as many of the fighters there to represent as they can. And it is a toss-up for me. It's a pick 'em. I think, again, one to stay away from. Stylistically, both these guys have strong chins. They go in there, they swing and bang a little bit. Maybe I'm leaning Anders a little bit just because he's American. I don't want to pull that card here, but they are in Canada. We got our American representing. Maybe I'll just
USA.
Maybe that's the reason why I'm going to lean that way, but I think it'll be a good fight to start on the pay-per-view, 100%.
Love it. So with that being said, we'll jump right into the next fight, guys. We have Dan 50K Ige coming into the game against Nate the Train Landwehr, aka Nate the Train in the UFC, aka Hey Austin, check out this bicep. The man is an absolute legend. The man is an absolute animal. And going off of that note, he actually had a crazy good quote at the media day. He said, every day when I was going to sleep for this fight camp, I knew I was fighting one of the best in the world. But every day he goes to sleep knowing he's fighting a fucking monster.
I love that.
And that's a fact.
Gets me wound up.
That's a fact, man. He's literally going to sleep every night knowing he's fighting a monster. Like, I had the honor and pleasure and privilege of getting to see the godlike performance that Nate the Train in the UFC Landwehr put on in San Diego last year with my boy Mystic Drew. And man, he got dropped, pretty much knocked out. He got knocked out dead to rights in the first round and somehow survived. Ref didn't stop it. And what happened? He dropped his opponent multiple times. And instead of following up and finishing him, he stood up, turned his back to his opponent and walked towards the crowd like the fucking gladiator.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? Bro, some of the, like, hands down, wildest shit I've ever seen in my life. It was incredible. It was incredible. And then he said he literally quoted Gladiator the next week, I believe, on the Helwani show. He's like, it's like in Gladiator, man, you win the crowd, you win your freedom.
And I'm found for freedom, baby.
He's not wrong. Like, if you win a big crowd, like, what happens? They are down to support you.
That's fair.
I'll ride with that guy. You'll see it later whenever we go over the Kinda Okay parlay.
Oh, spoiler, come on.
Or rather, the bet versus bet pick. Sorry, not Kinda Okay parlay. The bet versus bet. So, speaking of which, we're going to go ahead and, I got to know, how do you see this fight going? Nate Landwehr versus Dan Ige. I mean, a lot of people would say Dan Ige has the more experience. He does have more UFC experience probably, but 16-6 versus 17-4. Nate is actually the better man as far as records go. I mean, this is an interesting matchup. It's a compelling matchup.
It is, man. It is. And honestly, I love everything you said. Nate the Train, he's a dog. Everything he says, the way he fights, man, he's like the Rocky Balboa in a way, but with some more charisma. Hello, he's got that WWE style approach to it as well, man. But he's real, right? It's like it's not even like it's some act. He's really with the action, man. He puts it out there and he fights like that. I love it. He wears his heart in his sleeve. He's someone you're on a root for. I think I'm just a victim of like the recency bias here. When I look at Danny Ige, what he was able to do to my boy Adrian Yanez last time, I think we both saw that going a different way. I just can't bet against our boy 50K Danny Ige, man. I think he's looking for that 50K. And the Nate Train, he's looking for the same thing. They're probably guaranteed 50K for fight of the night. I can probably sign and book that, take that to the bank. But is he going to get a finish, another 50K? That's to be determined. Someone's getting finished here. I think we both have a little inclination to that one, but I think I'm just leaning Ige a little bit here just because I've seen a little bit more of the cleaner boxing. If they just start letting him hang and bang, man, I think Ige might end up catching Nate the Train before Nate the Train puts Ige away. But hey, man, Ige does have a lot of losses in his last few fights. I mean, if we just look at his resume as a whole, man, it's not pretty.
I mean, he's gone up against a lot of killers in his defense.
Fair.
He has definitely gone up against a lot of killers.
And this is the biggest challenge for Nate, I'd say, right?
Oh, this is definitely the biggest challenge in the UFC for Nate. I feel like Nate has definitely had like solid competition throughout his MMA career. He's still pretty new to the UFC, right? Like he just made it to the UFC back in 2020. That's just 3 years ago. And his introductory fight in the UFC was against freaking Herbert Burns, which is Gilbert Burns' little brother. After that, they fed him to Darren Elkins, and he beat Darren the Damage Elkins.
And Darren's he's a beast as well.
Darren's a beast.
That's a staple. Yeah.
That's a staple. After that, Juicy J, Julian Erosa beat him with a flying knee in the first round. He got kind of overzealous and just ate that flying knee and went down. Then since then, he's gone on a 3-fight win streak against Ludovic Klein, David Onama, which he did in front of myself in UFC San Diego. And then he beat a man named Austin at UFC Austin. So that's kind of neat.
There we go. Nice.
He beat Austin in Austin. Good for him. But again, like I feel like he's not a scrub by any means. And I think though he hasn't had the killer's row that Danny Ige has had since he's joined the UFC, he's getting there. He's working his way up in an appropriate way. And I think that Danny Ige is going to be a very appropriate test for him. And I do actually think that he will be able to weather the storm and beat Danny Ige. And not only that, but I think he'll probably get kind of a crazy finish on Danny Ige. I don't know why.
I mean, hey, you got to go with your heart, brother. That's not a bad one. I mean, if you're going to ride for somebody, Nate the Train's a good ride to go on.
You know what I'm saying? Like I hooked on a feeling.
That's a crazy train right there.
Going off the rails on a crazy train, as they say.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be a great fight.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, who do you think wins? No fence sitting on this podcast.
You know what? I think I'm just going to go against the grain here. We got to get some shots at stake. So I'm going to go Danny Ige on this one, assuming that you're going Nate, the Night Train.
I'm definitely going Nate the Train. Nate the Train, the UFC, baby. Put a shot on it. Check out that bicep. Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna make that happen. So I look forward to seeing you do a shot. Probably save that video and put it up on the next episode for the viewers to enjoy. Moving into the next fight, the Coco main event, we have Canada's own Mike Malott, Mike Malott, proper Mike, coming in against Adam. Forget about it. Fugitt. I don't know. That's not his actual nickname, but it definitely should be.
Rolled off the tongue too perfect.
You know what I'm saying? Too easy. Too good with it. So Adam Fugitt, He's a good fighter. I don't think he is as good as Mike Malott, if I'm being completely honest with you. I was in the Against the Fence podcast, their live stream earlier on YouTube, and I was saying the same exact things I'm going to say right now. I do think that Adam Fugitt is a good fighter. I think he actually might even be a great fighter. But I don't know that he's championship material, and I think that in the next couple of years, Mike Malott very well could be. The guy is 9-1, and by the way, he has 0 decisions, win or loss. He's been knocked out once. He has 4 knockouts and 5 submissions. Since entering the UFC, mind you, his only loss is outside of the UFC, and it's to a young man that you may have heard of because he's in the UFC, whose name is Hakeem Dawodu. The man hits like a tank.
Yeah, he does.
And, you know, he got a TKO over Mike Malott. Big deal. After that, the man got a draw at Bellator 142 over my favorite Muay Thai coach I've ever worked with in person, Tomas Nomas Dion, over from AKA. And since then, he has gone on a hell of a run. XFFC, he got a win. KO. First round, 30 seconds. After that, CFFC, technical submission, rear naked choke, 1 round. After that, Dana White's Contender Series, guillotine choke, 39 seconds. After that, he fought a young man you might have heard of named Mickey Gall. What did he do? He knocked him out in 3 minutes and 41 seconds. After that, he fought Johan Linnaeus. Submitted him in 4 minutes and 15 seconds. The young man is on fire. He continues to get better every single time that he goes in there. I don't think this is going to be any different. I think that he's going to go out there. He's going to showcase exactly why he is proper Mike Malott. He's going to do everything right, everything proper. His opponent standing across from him, very impressive young man as well. Adam Fugitt is 9-3. He is coming off of 1-1 in his last 2, both by way of TKO. He got knocked out in the 3rd round against Michael Morales at UFC 277, Pina versus Nunes 2, ironically enough. And now he's fighting again. He has had a fight since then, though, and it was a win. TKO in the 1st round against Yusaku Kinoshita. Hopefully I didn't mispronounce that name. I probably did. I apologize, Yusaku.
Enthusiasm, though.
Gotta have the enthusiasm. We love these fighters, and we gotta appreciate what they do. They entertain us, and we love that. So, yeah, man. What do you think? What do you think of proper Mike? What do you think of Mr. Forget About It himself?
You said a lot of great things, man. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I'll just kind of help add a little extra color to what you already painted the picture here. But yeah, I think it's a great fight here. Again, you know, on the home turf for our boy Mike here. Fighting out of Team Alpha Male as well. So quick shout out to their team. You know, he's going to be well coached. You know, he's going to be disciplined. You know, he's around a bunch of dogs. So he's getting after it.
Dogs.
And he's part of the Full Send crew. I mean, hey, shout out, you know, I mean, he's getting a lot of hype. So, you know, and I guess that's one of those things, right? When you're young in your career, granted, he's 31 years old, so he ain't no spring chicken. But hey, you know, you're starting to get that hype. It's your first main event. It's in your backyard. Are you going to succumb to the pressure, or are you going to apply that pressure and make a diamond, baby? I don't know. That's my big question here. We don't know what we're going to see yet, but I do think that if he sticks to his guns and fights the way he does, man, it's going to be a fun one. May not last long, honestly. You may take care of business real quick.
Yeah, I mean,
forget about it.
Forget about it. Either way, I think that this fight is going to be fireworks. I think it's going to be a very, very quick fight. I wouldn't expect this one to go to the distance at all. And I don't even think I'd expect this fight, if I'm being completely honest with you. I don't think I would expect it to even go like 2 rounds.
Hey, I mean,
both these guys are finishers, man. Like,
you're not going to get an argument from me on that one.
You know, like Fugitt's last, 5 fights, he's had 2 go to the 3rd round, and even those were finishes. So, I mean, the guy's
you know he's going to be headhunting. He's going to come out with a lot of adrenaline. He's going to be fired up. This first couple minutes is going to be telling.
Yeah, and then you have, you have Mike Malott, whose last 5 fights were 1st round finishes.
I mean, that's what he does.
You don't see that at welterweight, though.
That's crazy.
Like, at heavyweight, sure, maybe, sometimes. At light heavyweight, sure, maybe.
Strong.
He's so strong. He's proper.
Yeah.
He's proper. Everything he does is proper. It's got purpose. And, you know, it's exactly where it needs to be. It's exactly what it needs to be. So there we are. There we are, man.
That'll be a fun one. I think we're both leaning Malott on that one.
Oh, yeah. I think that's going to be a really, really fun one. Again,
If you're looking to bet, that's probably someone to bet on. I don't think I have anything on him this week, but
I think that he's definitely somebody to bet on, for certain. One more thing that I'll say on that is I think that with a compelling win here tonight, or rather Saturday night, he could end up being someone that is the next GSP.
Whoa. Talking about my guy, they're talking about the GOAT.
I'm being honest.
I mean, there's a lot of similarities, right? he's got the path.
I'm telling you right now, man.
They're going up like the stock market.
I'm telling you, man. Seriously though, I genuinely do think that he's a dog, and he's somebody really that talented. Again, like really he's special. How many stars does Canada have in MMA right now? Like there's not
for UFC, he's gonna be the poster child. I was listening to someone earlier. They said he's like the Ian Gary of Canada. It's like, yeah, I mean, he's gonna be their poster boy.
That's sure. Exactly my point. It's like they don't have many guys. He looks he looks like a perfect guy. Like he looks like an MMA fighter. And he's good looking. He almost looks like a Canadian Mike Bisping, if I'm being honest. Yeah. The fact that his name is Mike is kind of perfect. But yeah, that being said, I think he has a lot of potential to genuinely be the next GSP or the next like GSP-esque fighter out of Canada.
So if he comes out and he puts on a good show, he's dominant, and we'll obviously talk about the recap, but do you give him a top 15 or do you give him a top name up there? I mean, that's, depending how quick he does it, right? Maybe the turnaround.
I genuinely think you do. I genuinely think you do. And like, again, he's fighting Adam Fugitt, sorry, who's not a household name, but he is a good fighter. And I think that if he gets a huge win over this guy, there's no reason that you don't give him like a number 15 welterweight, which would be Michel Pereira. Or you give him the loser of who's Michel Pereira fighting? Is it Michael Chiesa?
I believe so.
Either way, you give him the loser of that fight, or you give him the loser of the JDM, the Jack Della Maddalena fight.
Yeah, both of those.
Because either of those guys are going to be right outside the top 15, and I think that's a pretty close to perfect matchup for him.
Yeah,
like there's almost no reason not to.
It's a good path right there. Oh no, Kez is fighting Kevin Holland.
Who is Michel Pereira fighting?
There's somebody coming up.
Because I know he has a fight coming up.
It is Wonder Boy.
Oh, that's who he's fighting. Oh, I hate that for Wonder Boy.
Oh no. Why am I all over a little place? Okay, let's get this. Oh, it is. Yep, that is it.
You're kidding.
Sheesh. Nope.
Wonder Boy and Michel Pereira.
Yeah, in Utah, July 29th. Oh, boy.
Yeah, hate that fight.
That is a crazy one.
Hate that fight.
Oh, man. This is going to be a fun summer. We got some big fights coming up, ladies and gents. Stay tuned in. Let's go.
Oh, my gosh.
That's a fun one.
Man. There's
a lot of contenders, man. That division's stacked. There's a lot of fun things, puzzle pieces to put together there.
Absolutely a lot of fun puzzle pieces to put together there. And that brings us into the co-main event of the evening.
Let's go.
Speaking about interesting things. Ooh. So do you want me to start this one off, or you want to start this one off?
Let's see. I can give my quick little synopsis here, and I'll let you bring us on home.
Let's get it.
Yeah, man. And like you said, this easily could be a main event, right? I almost wish it were, just so we could get the 5 rounds. However, this will be nothing short of 15 minutes of fireworks, if it even lasts that long. I think both guys don't.
That's a tough ask. Both these guys are finishers,
man. That's a lot, man. And both of these guys have worked their tushies off to get to this point. They put a lot of octagon time in here. Real quick, we got Beneil, 16-4-1 in the UFC. Charles, 21-9-1 for a combined over 50 fights in the UFC. Pretty freaking badass. Both of these guys have a ton of experience. Love to see that from these gentlemen. Again, they've earned it. Beneil at 34 years old, Charles at 33. Still feel like they're super young given that type of experience here in the octagon, but I think it's going to show Saturday night. Again, just a little bit about Charles, man, and why I'm leaning his direction. Charles Oliveira Dubronx, he's game. He has that championship pedigree. He's been fighting in the UFC since 2010. We're talking 13 years now. And he has wins over, and I'm going to go off this name, and it might be a trip down memory lane for some of us here, but he has wins over Clay Guida, Jim Miller, Kevin Lee, Tony Ferguson, Michael Chandler, Dustin Diamond Poirier, sorry, Olin, and Justin Gaethje. That is a murderer's row. Bunch of Hall of Famers littered within that group, in my opinion. Charles is a dog, man. He's very impressive. He wins those fights he's not supposed to win. And I think ever since he got his championship, short of losing to Islam, man, he is at that elite level. I truly believe it. I do think that his submission skills will be the X factor here. The man has 21 submissions under his belt, and I think he'll get 22 on Saturday. I'm just gonna say it. He said it won't go 3 rounds. I don't take him as a liar. I think he's taking it very, very serious. Even though he's saying he's having a lot of fun, that's kind of his MO, which is interesting to see. Hopefully that doesn't bite him in the butt. But I'm going with the ex-champ here. I'm going with Dubronx, man. I'm going with Brazilian. I'm going with
Brazil.
I'm going with the guy, man. He just something about him. I can't bet against him, man. I just can't. What do you think, brother? Talk to me.
Oh man, I mean, I'm gonna agree with a lot of the things that you said, but we're gonna draw a line in the sand at some point. So let's go ahead and crack the knuckles here.
That's a good crack.
Thank you, sir. You know, years of Muay Thai messed me up. So let's start by talking about Charles Oliveira, aka Charlie Olives, a veteran of the sport and a true submission specialist, as you pointed out. Oliveira holds the record for most submissions in UFC history, showcasing his exceptional grappling skills and ability to finish fights on the ground. He possesses a wide array of submission techniques and a keen sense for capitalizing on any and all grappling opportunities. Oliveira's striking is also something that we should pay attention to because it has also improved significantly over the years. He's become more confident and polished in his stand-up game with a diverse striking arsenal that includes powerful kicks, crisp punches, and some pretty decent and solid combinations there. His striking and grappling skills have grown so well that they genuinely complement one another nowadays. And that poses a new threat in itself. The fact that his stand-up game has created a new profound level of confidence for his grappling. It's almost like a new ripple or new layer to the onion of the game that is Charles Oliveira, aka Charlie Olives. Now, let's talk about the man standing across from him. You know who I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, fight fans of all shapes, sizes, and ages. We're talking about Benny from the block, Mr. Beneil Dariush. He's a well-rounded fighter with a strong background in wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But the thing to note as of late is his knockout power, or rather his raw power. He has the ability to be down rounds, losing a fight, and just somehow find an opponent's off switch. Bam! Currently surging on an 8-fight win streak consisting of 4 decisions, 2 knockouts, and 2 submissions. This man can get it done anywhere the fight goes, people. Fight fans, get ready, because this is going to be an epic clash between Beneil Dariush and Charlie Olives, and this fight has all the makings of a true spectacle. I can't wait to witness all the action and see it unfold inside the octagon. The question will finally be answered. Will Oliveira continue his submission dominance that we've seen in recent years? Or will Dariush's well-rounded skill set be the keys to victory here for him and continue on his 8-fight win streak, creating a 9-fight win streak and an undeniable argument that he is the man fit for a shot at the belt in the lightweight division of the UFC? We'll find out soon enough. Let us know what you think in the chat below, guys.
Let us know. Ooh, man, that got me fired up. Let's go. These are legends, man. These are legends in the division. Beneil's a dog. I mean, I gotta give him his flowers here. He is gonna definitely, and I say definitely, be one of the hardest challenges for Charles. He poses a lot of threats, right? He's up there with Islam and Dustin in terms of skill. Beneil, I'm talking about here. He does everything well, like you mentioned. Very awkward style, but boy, he's durable and he has that aggression to him, and he's looking to take your freaking lights out. poses a lot of threats, man. He's
a lot of threats.
He poses a lot of threats. I'm really excited. I don't know. Charles is just, again, it's just hard to rule him out. You can never rule him out of a fight. Islam got the better of him, right? Obviously, that's maybe where you draw the line with him. But man, that murderer's row that he was able to get through, like, I mean, if we're going to use some MMA math here, we're assuming Beneil jumps all these guys, right? I mean, I don't know if Beneil would hang with a lot of those guys, right? And it's, what does Charles do? He gets hurt. I mean, he's definitely going to get dropped at some point. That's pretty much a given. But he gets back up and he finds a way to your back and gets you, man. I don't know what it is.
So here's the thing. I'm going to go into further detail here, okay?
Here we go.
Charles Oliveira is a beast. He's an absolute stud of a human being. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is absolutely stellar, okay? It's almost second to none these days. Maybe it is second to none. But his grappling on a fundamental level is actually not as good as Beneil Dariush, in my humble opinion, because he has holes in his submission defense and his grappling defense. He's a very good offensive grappler. So when we're talking about like, oh, you know what? He's got 21 submissions to Beneil's 8. It's very easy to say, cool, he's got 2.5 times the number of submissions as Beneil Dariush. But more often than not, people look at that number and they fail to look at how many submission losses these people have. So, okay, he has 2.5x the submission wins, but he has 4x the submission losses as Beneil Dariush. Something to look at, food for thought. That being said, the reason he's won most of his fights in the lightweight division is because he's created such a scary threat in the grappling department that when somebody knocks him down, which, as you said, it will happen. It's just a matter of when, not a matter of if. People are basically trying to find out, hey, is this guy gonna submit me if I go on top of him? And Islam wasn't afraid of it. That's why Islam destroyed him. Beneil Dariush is not going to be afraid of it, and that's why I have this scary feeling that he ends up getting it done in a terrifying way.
He can. I mean, that's the thing. He can walk right through and just weather the storm, and he does pose the same exact threats that Islam does. Is he on that same level? We're gonna find out. But I'll tell you what, man, it's a big one, and I think just not seeing Beneil in a long time, not seeing him against a lot of the guys that are at this caliber, and I'm talking the elites of the 155ers, which is a class in its own. It's a big test, but man, he might have the right answers. You're absolutely right. I'm nervous. It's gonna be a fun one. I wish there was 5 rounds. I do. I think that would change a little bit of the strategy in the fight, maybe a little bit. But knowing that, I think that does favor Charles, I guess, his style and maybe just jumping out the gate. But the longer it goes, the more Beneil's gonna probably bury him.
So let me ask you this: how do you see the fight going, like right out of the gates? What do you think happens in the first 3 minutes of the fight?
I think Charles will probably come out and throw some Spartan kick to the chest of some sort, or come out with a flying knee, come out a little crazy, try to get Beneil on his back foot, maybe control the octagon. I think it'll work at first. I think because Beneil is really awkward, and Charles is gonna respect him a lot, and he's a southpaw with a heavy left hand. I think there's gonna be some dancing, some moving right on Charles's side, but I think eventually he's gonna start to walk forward and try to put something together. The question is, if he gets hit, or if and when, right? Does he go down immediately, then kind of do the jiu-jitsu, let me get on my back and come to me, come in my world thing? If not, then he'll just score points, right? And Beneil will be calculated and do the mental math and get his notes together. But he can, the more offensive Charles gets, I think the more that plays into Beneil. Charles,
that's fair.
Really smart.
I I genuinely think that, like, a lot of the things you're saying are absolutely right. I just also think that Beneil Dariush has an underrated forward pressure game.
Ooh.
If I'm being completely honest. And I don't know that, like, Charles doesn't really do notably well when he faces somebody else that has a lot of forward facing pressure like himself. We saw that in the Islam fight. We saw a lot of that in the Dustin fight too, up until the illegal glove grab and, the complexity of the fight changed, but we won't go into that. That's something for another day, for another time. Yeah,
How do you see those first 3 minutes go? What are you thinking?
honestly, in the first 3 minutes, I think we're gonna see just bodies doing that. We're gonna see just a clash of men running into the center of the octagon, going at it. Maybe the first like 30 seconds will be calm and measured, but Beneil Dariush is chomping at the bit to get a title shot. Charles Oliveira is chomping at the bit to get back into a title picture. And I don't see any reason for these guys to not really push for it. And I think we're going to find out a lot about how the majority of the fight's going to go based on who shoots first and if they succeed. If Beneil shoots and he doesn't succeed, could be a long night for him. I think that as far as striking skill goes and fluidity, Charlie Olives has it all day. If we're talking about power, raw power, Beneil Dariush, not even close. Cardio, Charlie Olives. Heart, Beneil Dariush. Like there's so many caveats to the fight, right? Like, yeah,
you can score. Definitely why you can score. That's what makes it a fun one, because it's not one-sided either way. I mean, it is very much a toss-up in a lot of ways.
I also feel like, sorry to cut you off, I will say one more thing real quick, just about this actual matchup and kind of how it plays out, in my opinion. I think the footwork of Charlie Olives is really slick. I think that's something that has improved significantly in the last couple years. Something that a lot of people, it's underrated, in my humble opinion. That being said, I think no matter how good your footwork is, it's a lot easier to hit a body than it is a moving head. And I think Beneil Dariush is good at doing body work early. And I think if he does go to the body early, it's going to prove to be a very tough night at the office for Charlie Olives. I could see him getting finished in the first or second round if Beneil starts going early onto the body and gets him hurt with a body shot and then just follows up and just Donkey Kong punches and ground and pounds him.
He could, man. He could. Anything could happen. I don't know. And we'll see here shortly, but I'm leaning Charles Olives. I think if he ends up, getting to his marks first, disabling Dariush in some ways, hurting him, just taking the wheels up from underneath him a little bit, taking away his steam, the sail of his sailboat a little bit. I think he can eventually submit him, man. That's where I'm leaning, and again, we'll see here in a second. Put my money where my mouth is, but
that would be dope.
Hey, man, I won't be surprised either way. Both these guys are dogs. Both these guys deserve to be right next in line with, one of the future BMFs there as well. But they're right where they need to be, and they know what's at stake. Again, they have over 50 UFC fights to get to this point, to get to the 52nd fight, which is going to be a UFC title. Charles knows what's at stake here. Beneil, man, he's as hungry as can be, right? I mean, like Islam took him like a 9 or 10 fight win streak. I think Charles, maybe something similar. I
think he was on an 11 fight win streak or something like that.
It takes a while. Yeah.
Islam put in work.
Yeah, man. So you're going to see everything. You're going to see two men leave it all out there, man. That much I do know.
Absolutely, my guy. So that being said, we have one fight left to go over before we jump into our little bet versus bet segment here. You want to lead us off again?
I get my 2 cents here. I know you have a great breakdown, and we'll go back and forth. But man, I think the big tail of the tape here, right? Amanda Nunes, the GOAT, the greatest woman fighter of all time, versus Irene Aldana, right? I think the first question with Amanda is she still motivated? Is she still hungry, right? She mentioned a lot of things during the media scrums that caught my attention. Things like not being fulfilled earlier in her career or feeling empty, even when she had both belts, which I thought was really interesting. And I think now she mentioned being a mother and now having that newfound inspiration in her life, I think is what's going to lead her to continue to be dominant again. I think ultimately what led to her loss against Julia Pena was probably a combination of what she was basically saying in the media scrum is, hey, just heart wasn't fully in it. Maybe that motivation wasn't at a level 10. And it all accumulated to that loss, missing sessions, just not really feeling like anyone was really out there worth getting up early and staying up late for, right? But she mentioned a lot of great things. She mentioned, again, taking that super serious. She mentioned having a little bit more of an edge this time around. The way she was talking about Aldana, saying, I don't care if she misses weight or not, I'm going to beat this girl. We're going to go fight, and I'm going to continue to knock him down. That was really interesting. She even mentioned things like, holes in Shevchenko's game, Juliana not being on her level, being pissed off about the loss. Like, I loved hearing a lot of that from Amanda Nunes. I don't think you see a lot of that too much. She doesn't care about the fame. She doesn't care about the status and all that. She just want to come out here and beat some girls up. And I think she'll continue to do that. But Irene Aldana, man, she's a strong opponent. She's an exciting dance partner, right? First and foremost, Viva la Mexico. Si se puede, cabrones. Let's go.
Si se puede.
2023, man. It's the year of the Mexican fighters, man. I love the fact that there's 3 current Mexican board champions right now. And we now have a 4th in contention. This wave of talent, from my ancestors' country, man, it's no surprise. Us true fight fans, we know, right? If you came from the boxing world, like my family and I, or even if you just watch UFC, you started to see the trickle-in effect, that the fighting nature, it's in our blood, man. I think they just needed a little more time to catch up, the infrastructure. And girls like Irene, man, she's one of the founding mothers, one of the founding mothers, that founders, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but one of the pioneers in terms of female fighters.
She's one of the founding mothers of MMA.
It didn't roll off as naturally there. I want to say founding fathers so bad. But she's a pioneer. She's a legend. I mean, one of the first female fighters from Mexico that I remember seeing years ago. Again, she's had a long career here in the UFC, 7-4. It's had its trials and tribulations, but she's earned her right to be here. She's coming off 2 impressive fight wins, great boxing pedigree, trains with Alexa Grasso. She has a lot of things to offer, and I think she will give Amanda some problems. I mean, not a lot of girls can, and we've seen Amanda just dust some girls away, right? Before this Juliana trilogy, like, Amanda was basically untouchable. But Irene can hit her. If Amanda wants to just sit in the pocket and trade shots, like, Amanda will get hers off. She will weather the storm. But at the end of the day, Amanda's just too damn good, in my opinion. Like, there's just no way around it. She's going to go out there. I think she's going to be a little more measured. She might take more of the page from her fight against Jermaine Durand and me in terms of, exchanging, maybe throwing a 1-2,
solid
3.
name drop there, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely, man. Hey, she's going to give that 1-2 shoot, 1-2 shoot, 1-2 shoot. It's going to be a little boring. We're going to hope that they can go up and fight, but she's going to be smart. She's going to be a champion. She's going to go out there and just disable Irene, I think, unfortunately.
Come on, Irene. Come on, Irene. So that's upsetting that's how you really feel. But you know what? I'm gonna tee us up because you made it seem like a one-sided thing. Before I jump into my little monologue here, my little John Anik moment of the episode for myself. Do you just think Amanda Nunes dominates, smashes?
No, I think that. I think she will eventually get there, right? I mean, how quick, right? If it's not gonna be a first round finish, I think I'm gonna give Irene the benefit of the doubt. I think it'll go maybe 2 or 3, but I think Irene's never been hit by a person like Amanda Nunes. Like, when she hits girls, their face looks different, their body language look different. I think after just enough of that, her face, the cuts, I think it's just gonna be one of those like Tony Ferguson moments of just like, okay, I'm done. She won't throw the flag, but maybe her body will shut down. Maybe it's a liver shot. Maybe they throw the damn towel.
Throw the damn towel.
I think she's got a heart of a lion as well, and she's also Catwoman. I think that's the other thing I wanted to say. All the lead up, she's quite the Catwoman there. That would be, if we're talking comic books, that'd be her character. But she's going up against Supergirl. It's inevitable. She's gonna get pounded. I mean, it's just, what are we talking about?
So Amanda Nunes is the first person you put on your DraftKings, or what?
Hey, I mean, you can see it there. We'll see the receipts. I think she was up there.
We'll see.
I think I doubled down on it, if I'm not mistaken.
We'll have to see. All right, so
talk to me.
Jumping into Irene Aldana versus Amanda Nunes. We're gonna go ahead and start off with the champion. And when it comes to Amanda Nunes, there's no denying her dominance in the sport, ladies and gentlemen. She is a 2-division champion, having conquered both the bantamweight and featherweight divisions. Nunes possesses incredible power in her strikes, with a long list of knockout victories to her name. And let's face it, We all know Amanda Nunes, so I think we should probably talk a little bit about her opponent instead with this time. So, Irene Aldana is a rising star in the bantamweight division and possesses her own unique set of impressive skills. Aldana's striking ability is exceptional. With a background in boxing that shines through in her technique and footwork, she's precise and calculated when it comes to the striking department, always looking for opportunities to land clean shots. She's also shown resilience in the face of adversity, having bounced back from losses and coming back even stronger from each. Her mental fortitude and never say die attitude make her a dangerous opponent for anyone she faces, and her ground game shouldn't be overlooked either. While she's primarily known for her striking, Aldana does have 3 submission wins in her professional career, which is worth noting. When these two warriors step into the octagon, we can have no doubt that it's going to be guaranteed fireworks. Aldana's technical striking and footwork will be put to the test against the raw power and knockout precision and aggression of Amanda Nunes. It is a classic striker versus striker matchup, and if there's anything I know about that, the fans win every time we get one of these. So you don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss it. Nano doesn't want to miss it. He's crying, I think, right now.
Bring the tears of joy here.
I think this is going to be an incredible fight. I think Aldana's going to shock a lot of people. I think her footwork is going to be the differentiator. Am I saying that I think she goes out there and beats Amanda Nunes? Not necessarily, not 100%. Do I think she could go out there and beat Amanda Nunes? Yes, absolutely. I think she could go out there and beat Amanda Nunes. Now, there are multiple reasons for this. Again, her footwork is one of the biggest reasons for this. Her footwork is the biggest differentiator. She's able to get in and out of the pocket, create opportunities. Looking at them, you would think that Aldana would actually have the reach advantage, but she doesn't. She barely has a 1-inch height advantage, and she has a 1/2-inch reach disadvantage. That being said, I do think that either way, without the reach advantage, she's going to look like the bigger, longer, stronger fighter in there, just because she utilizes every inch of reach that she does have. We've seen it in fights against people like Macy Chiasson, where she's utilized her reach against someone that was even longer than her. So I think this is going to be a much closer fight that people are giving Aldana credit for. And though I have Nunes on my DraftKings, I'm lying. I don't actually have her on my DraftKings. But I may end up adding Aldana to it.
You get some good odds, brother. You're definitely getting some good odds. And why not? I mean, hey, like you mentioned some good points, brother. First off, let's go. You did bring me to tears a little bit there. That and my darn allergies here. But yeah, man, I mean, in terms of stature, like they are very similar. Like their measurables are very similar. They're doing their face-offs. Honestly, Irene's holding her own. She's big. She looks stronger. Yep. Right? Amanda does look a little soft. And honestly, she does get a little skinnier. I think maybe that'll benefit her like better in terms of holding her weight better. Maybe it's a cleaner weight. I think in the past she's usually looked a little bit thicker. They're fighting at, is it 145? Oh no, this is 135. Okay, maybe that's why. But I think that will benefit her being a little more lean, Amanda. But Irene looks freaking strong.
Bro, did you see her? Did you see her at the like media day and stuff like that? She looks jacked, bro.
Like strong.
Like
she looks strong.
Her back, dude. Her back is insane. On the I think it was Embedded episode.
Yeah.
She just looks insanely shredded. And
like Megan Anderson looked big, but Irene looks like strong.
Shredded. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, there's boxing back. You get that back from being a damn good boxer all those darn years, man. That's exactly what that is. So. And
dude, I think I could see her rocking Amanda while Amanda's like coming in thinking confidently that she can knock her out with just like a pull and throw.
It won't take much, huh?
The classic really boxers. Yeah, because like she hits really hard. I think Amanda Nunes is, I think ever since that Cyborg fight, it's been a blessing and a curse for her. Everybody seeing her knock out Cyborg obviously is why she blew up, right? But her having that moment against Cyborg, and her having that moment though where like she ate Cyborg's best shot and it didn't phase her. She said herself, like I took her best shot and I was like, oh, I can take these. And so I just started throwing, not caring about being knocked out because I didn't think she could knock me out. That's a scary mindset. Feeling like I'll just walk through shots. I can't be knocked out because that's how you get knocked out.
Well, what happened to Juliana Pena, right? It starts with one. She kind of laughs it off like, oh, that wasn't nothing. And then you get another 1-2, and then you're trying to go, and now you're one split second behind. Now those 2-3 turn to 5-6, and now you're wobbly and you're out. Bro, and Irene, I think. Well, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was just saying, reading those Mexican style boxers, man, like they can generate a lot of power with not a lot of room. I mean, it's inside the pocket here. It can be a short jab, a quick hook, and check hook, whatever. And I mean, she can generate power. It's gonna hurt you.
She really can. And also, like, if you get on the end of her punches, good luck. Like, she's so snappy with her cross and her jab. Like, I say this all the time, but like MMA fighters, UFC fighters, they're not the best in the world at throwing jabs. The jab is almost non-existent in a lot of these fights. Unless you're watching a Sean Strickland fight, then it's 98% of the fight. Sorry, Sean. Love you.
You can tell the difference from a wrestler jab or jiu-jitsu jab from a boxer's jab.
Like, yeah, like most of the time in MMA, it's a test. In boxing and a boxer jab, like, I can hurt you with a jab.
Yeah, I could throw maybe 2 before you see the second one.
Like, who is it? Who is it that throws really fucking crispy jabs? Two people come to mind: Brendan Moreno, and Dustin Poirier. Oh, both of those guys will snap your head back with a jab.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, that was his lead hand. What just happened to me? That's not supposed to feel like that.
If you want to watch boxing, go look at Dustin and look at him snap that jab off. And the same with him. I mean, he doesn't need a lot of space. It could be a funky kind of off angle, quick little check hook, but you see their bodies just go limp, and it's like, well, because those things, they know what they're doing, baby. Come on.
He turns that fist all the way over, man. Bow, bow.
Look at that. See, whoa.
Beautiful.
Snapping.
It'll snap your head back. It's call that a whippersnapper, baby.
Whippersnapper.
So we are going to go ahead and jump into what we call here a little bet versus bet. I haven't uploaded the video to the new streaming thing yet. That'll be the next one. But we do have the graphic here. Should see Nano's face pop up. And we should even have some music here as well. Cool. So we got Nano's picks on the screen here. Nano, why don't you tell them why you picked Amanda Nunes to win by TKO, KO, or DQ, and Charlie Olives to win by submission?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So you know what we're doing here. We're sticking to the big guns. All right. It's a fun card. We had a good pay-per-view, but I'm going with the champs. I'm chasing the greatness here. Okay. I normally wouldn't recommend chasing the finishes or the win by. I usually say, hey, let's stick to the money lines, or let's try to put together a little parlay. But for this one, again, I'm going with the 2 champs, the main and co-main. I just have a feeling, again, I think Amanda Nunes, she seems hungry. She seems motivated. She seems like she really wants to show the world who she is and remind them that she's the GOAT. So I think she's going to come out. And honestly, I do think, I mean, chasing the odds here a little bit, but I do think there is a really strong scenario that they go out there and they just start swinging, right? Maybe that first round gets a little slow to start, but I do see both these women going out there, like dying on their shield. I think Amanda Nunes will eventually put away Irene Aldana. I just do. And the same with Charles, right? I think this will be a fun fight. Charles doesn't want to even go 3 rounds. He's going to come out crazy, get Beneil off his game, find a way to his back, and get his 20-second submission. That's just the way I see it, brother. That's it. And I'm doubling down on both of those fighters. Again, going with them as well on a money line bet for the 3-pick parlay. And if I'm going to bet anyone, you got to go with 50K. Dan Ige, come on. Again, I mean, I just feel like I think that one honestly might come back to bite me. I'm least confident in the Dan Ige money line, but the odds are there. I guess Vegas is on my side. I'm just feeling like that's going to be one where I win my money back here and get a leg up. And what's up, chat? How we doing, boys? Great to see y'all in there. Let's go.
I mean, you definitely have a fan on your side with Ash. Shout out Ash and shout out the Against the Fence podcast. Make sure you guys go subscribe to those fellas on YouTube. That's why I actually shouted out earlier. I was in their chat, literally watching their live stream, talking the same fights. So yeah, he said bet the house on Ige by KO. That's good odds. I mean, that's not a crazy bet for sure. We also got the Black Hotto up in here, the homie Arthur, the guy, the man, the myth, the legend, and
get you on one of these, brother.
Dude, we got to get him on one of these. Speaking of which, we got to jump into my picks now. Boom. Sorry, Nano, he's out of here. So here we are. I had to make myself super tiny because the units were so big. These are my picks. We got a 3-pick parlay followed by a 4-pick parlay. The 3-pick parlay goes a little something like this. We definitely need some music. There it is. So we are going over these beautiful picks. We got Nasruddin Imavov money line, Nate the Train Landwehr money line, and Beneil Dariush money line, aka Benny from the blog, aka your Middle Eastern friend's favorite fighter. It's a fact. So here we go. Let me tell you why. Nasruddin Imavov is going in there against Chris Curtis. Love Chris Curtis to death. Love him or hate him. He's somewhat of a one-dimensional fighter. He trains out of the house of Sean Strickland. Jab city, bitch. Jab, jab, city, bitch. That's what he does. He's going to stand and bang. And that's all he's going to try and do. But he's going to end up getting taken down probably by Nasruddin Imavov. And, we got to go for the Nate the Train KO. Nate the Train in the UFC, baby. Check out this bicep, Austin. Nate Landwehr, going on that money line for Nate Landwehr. Why? Because he's Nate the Train in the UFC, baby. You can't get mad at Nate the Train. Got to check out that bicep. He's a dog. And you see it right there, plus 215, dog odds. Had to take him against Dan Ige. Dan Ige's not the easiest man to finish, but man, Nate's got power in those hands, and I think he gets it done. So let's see it happen. Let's see it come to fruition. I'm excited about it. And moving into that next one, here we go. We got Beneil Dariush, aka Benny from the block. Come on, guys. Charlie Olives is a fantastic fighter. He's got an onslaught of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and grappling skills. But here is the fact of the matter. The young man fails whenever other people move forward nonstop against him, and he fails even further when people are willing to do what? When they are willing to follow him onto the ground. And Benny from the block is going to do that. He's going to follow him onto the ground. He's going to get that win. I think he ends up probably getting either a submission or a ground and pound finish over Charlie Olives. And moving into the 4-pick parlay, this one was even easier for me. 4 picks are easier than 3 for whatever reason, guys. Amanda Nunes versus Irene Aldana to start round 2. I definitely think it starts the second round. I think these two women are going to mostly feel each other out in the first round or so. So it's definitely going to start that next round. Moving down, we got Charlie Olives versus Beneil Dariush fight to start the second round. Yeah, definitely think it's going to start the second round. Both men are extremely hard to finish. Both men are extremely durable and tough. I do think somebody gets the finish, but I don't think it's in the first 5 minutes, people. In the next one, we got Mike Malott versus Adam. Forget about it. Fugitt. Fight to start the round, the third round. Not a chance. There's no chance in hell. I almost felt confident saying this fight wouldn't start the second round. But let's just face it. These men are both finishing machines. Adam Fugitt has more finishes than he does decisions, or more finishes than not. And Mike Malott is just on an absolute killer 8-fight win streak, all finishes. All of his UFC fights have been first round finishes. So let's just address the elephant in the room. The elephant is the third round that we're never going to see in that fight. So moving into the last and final pick for my 4-pick parlay, we got to talk about it. We got Dan 50K Ige going in against Nate the Train, the UFC Landwehr. You already know what it is, folks. Will that fight start round 3? No, I really don't think so. I think one of those young men is going to end up going to sleep. And as long as one of them does before the third round starts, this guy is going to bank. So we got 2 units down to win a whopping 14.6. We'll let you know how it goes on the next episode. That episode is going to be over on the YouTube on Tuesday, directly following The Ultimate Fighter. And yeah, those are my picks. We'll go ahead and jump back into the little duo stream here where we can see both of us. All aboard the Nate train, baby.
Let's go. Hey, man, I might be on the train after this, even though I'm betting against you. My boy Nate, I'm sorry. And unpersonal. But, man, you said that really well, brother. I don't know. I'm excited. And I like your strategy here. I think good food for thought. You're using both sides of the spectrum here. You're saying, hey, I've analyzed both these guys. I got a good sense of how the fight's going to go. I don't even need to pick who's going to win. I just know how the fight's going to go. I think that's a great way to bet as well. for all you savvy guys out there.
You know, that's the thing. Like, we can't always know who's going to win these fights, but I mean, when two guys across the board end up having like what, an 85% finish ratio or finish rate, like, you got to think with these two guys going against each other, it's not like a wrestler versus wrestler where it's like, oh, well, their wrestling skills aren't going to matter. No, it just means someone's going to go to sleep pretty quick.
Yep. Absolutely.
You got two guys that want it.
Hey, man,
50K going to get run down by the train. That's right, Hato. You already know. It's going to happen.
Oh, man. I got to put that evil on me.
Bro, I'm sorry. I love Danny Ige. I'm a big fan of Ige, but I just, not today, Satan.
Everything Nate says, man, it's hard not to bet against him. He gives me the chills, man. I just want someone like him just hyping me up at all times.
He's so dope.
Soundtrack.
And if you haven't seen the random video of him in the just like in the suit, you gotta check it out. It's amazing.
I'm about to find that.
I think I posted it as a short on the YouTube a while back. I want to say I did. I made like a stupid little edit of it. Yeah,
that's the best.
Yeah. I'll have to find that and pull that up. But yeah, it's he literally like showed up, I think it was like to the media day or something in UFC San Diego against David Onama wearing like just like a full-on suit, and he looked like a Wish.com hitman in the best way. In just the best way. Yeah, I mean it as an absolute compliment.
It's phenomenal.
Like, I genuinely mean
John
it
Wick
as
style,
just an absolute compliment.
I love that.
Yeah, like he's so fun.
That's fantastic.
Here we go. Nate Landwehr fight week. I got you. Copy link address. Here we go, folks. Gonna post this in the chat. That way you guys can check this out too. Just in case you haven't seen this man in his suit doing his thing, and also if you haven't seen his suit doing his thing, whoops, there we go. Yeah, if you haven't seen this man in his suit doing his thing, and if you haven't seen this man getting knockouts, here we go. Just post that up in the chat for you real quick. Sorry if there was a slight echo for just a second there. But yeah, man, the dude's a stud. I freaking love Nate Landwehr. I think he's a lot of fun to watch. I think he's a future star of the UFC.
Doesn't end well for him in that clip. Jeez.
What's that?
I said it doesn't end well for him in that clip, but he looks fantastic to begin with.
What are you talking about? It doesn't end well for him in that clip.
Let me go back. Is it a different one? Or is that the one of him getting dropped?
You gotta watch the whole clip.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Oh, that's that fight, huh? He comes
Dude,
back.
he literally got knocked out in the first round and then won a 3-round decision.
A few moments later. Oh, he does.
Brother. Nate, train! I'm telling you, bro. What happens when you punch a train? You hurt yourself.
Hey, they tell you get off the tracks, don't you? Come on.
Tell you get off the tracks. You ain't ready for the train, baby.
Train's coming, baby. We get off the tracks now.
Hey, the train coming.
I love that. That's fantastic.
Love to see it. I gotta ask. If you guys are still in the chat, Ash and Hato, what are your fight of the night picks?
There we go.
Personally, I think it's got to be Nate the Train versus Danny Ige.
I just got it written all over it, huh?
I'm calling it right now. I'm going to say knockout of the night is going to be Irene Aldana versus Amanda Nunes. Either side, because either side is going to be great. I think 50K versus the Nate the Train is going to be fight of the night. And then I think submission of the night or performance of the night is going to go to Beneil Dariush with his win over Charlie Ellis. Or Mike Malott. Mike Malott could get a performance of the night.
Yeah, if he comes out, I mean, he should. I think he's probably one of the favorites for betting on it.
Even more important question, because I know Hato and Ash had just joined. Hato, if Mike Malott comes out and gets a win, a big win over Adam Fugitt, do you think he deserves a top 15 opponent in the welterweight division?
$1 million question right there. That's a good one.
Because, I mean, I feel like the kid's done enough to earn a top 15 opponent. And I feel like if he gets a top 15 opponent and smashes number 15, you got to give him a top 10. Maybe even a top 5 after that. Steamroll this kid ahead.
He's going to have a big name behind him. I mean, again, I think he's a full send athlete now. You know, if he gets an impressive win, they'll continue.
Ooh, Zahabi is my sleeper for performance bonus. That is an interesting take. You talking about Faraz Zahabi's little brother? Ayman? I forgot he was on the freaking card. My goodness. That's a sleeper. That's a sleeper pick, Otto. That's a sleeper pick.
Ayman.
He's one of those guys where, like, I want to see him do well, but I just don't know if he's the real deal or if he's just his brother's brother. You know what I mean?
He's 35 years old. He is Canadian, though, born. So.
Well, yeah, he's his. Do you not know who Faraz Zahabi is?
Oh, shoot. That's his brother?
Faraz Zahabi is GSP's coach.
Right.
And that's his brother. That's his big brother.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
His big brother. Gotcha.
So Ayman is the little brother. Yeah, because Faraz, I think, is in his 40s at this point.
Right. He's old. Yeah.
But I mean, like, Ayman's not a scrub, right? Like, he did come out and beat Ricky Tercios in one of the worst fights I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, he beat Ricky Tercios, and I think he only scored like 50 points on DraftKings. And he beat Draco Rodriguez, who, again, not a household name. Before then, they kind of like gave him to Ricardo Ramos, and he got just spinning back elbowed into oblivion in the third round. And then Vince Morales ended up getting a unanimous decision over him. So he's 2-2 in his last 4. I think realistically, this one for Zahabi is going to be one of those tests of, is he that guy or is he that guy's brother? Which is like shitty, right? Like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but when you have like a super hype famous brother that trained arguably one of the best of all time, if not the best of all time, it's hard not to just say like, oh, well, is he getting pushed and hype because he's Faraz's younger brother?
I mean, it definitely begs the question, right? I mean, we're talking a legendary coach, and yeah, I mean, obviously the name association is going to be one thing. Yeah, coming off the win, right? I mean, he's trying to earn it. 35 years old. I mean, the better days are probably behind him now, but hey, we'll see if he could use that coaching or the IQ and transfer it over. It'll be a fun one for sure.
Absolutely. And I mean, across from him, you've got freaking Kilong Aori, who has a great nickname. Mongolian Murderer is just a fantastic nickname. Let's be honest.
That's sick.
Yeah. And I mean, like, that guy, his losses are not bad losses. Like, he lost to Cody Durden and he lost to Jeff Molina. those are studs. And since then, he's beaten Jay Perrin by a decision and Cameron Elsie by TKO. So he literally has almost identical last 4 running fights. Like, he's won 2 in a row after losing 2 in a row. So I don't think that this is anybody's game to just easily walk in and win. But I do agree with what Hato said in the chat. It is a very winnable fight for Zahabi. So it's a favorable fight for him. I don't want to say it's an easy fight for him, but it's a winnable fight for him. And I'm here for it. I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out for him.
Absolutely. That'll be a fun one.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, I feel like that's the entire card, or at least like the most exciting fights. I feel like this card has been getting a lot of unnecessary flack for being like not an amazing card or whatever, but come on, guys. It's a pretty damn good card. I'm here for it. I'm a big fan of the fights, and yeah, got a homie coming out for it. I think it's gonna be a good fight, man. I think it's gonna be a good fight card.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes the underrated ones or the low key fights end up being the funnest, right? You may not know a lot of the names. You know, we talk about that a lot. I mean, we know a lot of these fighters, but if you're a casual, you're going to know the greatest woman fighter of all time. You're going to know Charles Oliveira, the ex-champ. Those are definitely worth the ticket for admission in and of itself. But we're getting Imavov, Chris Curtis for free. We got, obviously Nate the Train, Ige, as well on that main card.
Oh, shit.
She should be dominant.
My bad.
And then Zahabi.
I got to stop doing that.
What happened?
Hotkeys, numbers, man.
It's getting late for us. That's our cue.
Yeah, I was trying to respond in the chat on here. I was being lazy because I have it up on my phone so I can respond. Just so that way that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Classic
moves. But yeah, honestly, I feel like this is one of those cards where people shit on it, but just like you were saying, like some of the cards that are the most watered down or less exciting end up having, like, I forget which card it was. It was like hella pay-per-views ago at this point. I say hella, but it was like last year. But I remember they had like a 95% finish rate. Every single fight but one fight on it was a finish. And like all week, everyone was like, oh, this fight card is trash. This is like the weakest pay-per-view of all time. And I'm like, dude, there's really good fights. Like stylistically, there's a lot of really good fights. Are they all household names? No, but none of these people started off as household names either. They got a really good knee or a really good spinning back elbow, and then everybody knew them. So you got to watch these cards so that way you're ahead of the game and you know these people before everyone else does.
Facts.
Thank you, Hado. The lesser known names put on better shows because they're trying to make a name for themselves. These are the facts, people.
Absolutely, man.
These are the facts. You've heard of the fappening. This is the factening. Spit facts here.
Everything you got.
Everything you got. Let's go, Galaxy.
Here we go.
What movie was that? I Love You, Man, right?
I Love You, Man. Yeah.
Yes, dude. Yes.
Oh, dude. Banger.
Bruchacho. Yeah, that movie's incredible. This fight card is going to be incredible. And all of you people that tuned in and hopped in the chat and said hello, you're even more incredible. So we appreciate you all. We look forward to seeing you all in the next stream. The next episode is going to be on the YouTube channel live on Tuesday, following directly after The Ultimate Fighter. If you've been watching, it has been a pretty darn fun season. I, for one, am excited. Again, the people that are complaining about it are the same people that have complained about it for 31 seasons, folks. Come on. Like, you either like it or you don't like it. It's delightfully reality TV, and I'm here for it. I love it. Yeah. It's got all the challenge vibes. Add in a little sprinkle of Irish seasoning, a little dash of proper 12 whiskey, and you just add in a little quote caption at the bottom that says, "I'll see you at the top," and you got Tough 31, guys. That's a great one. Again, we appreciate you guys so much for joining us and tuning in. Please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. That way you get the pop-up notifications for when we go live. Should be a normal thing every Thursday moving forward around 8 p.m. Shortly before, shortly after. Bear with us with the technical difficulties occasionally. And we appreciate you as always. We will see you next time.
Let's go. See y'all.
Thanks again, guys. Later.